So where does this leave we, the people? Let's ask one of the lone voices representing constitutional conservatism on Capitol Hill, and by extension, one of the few representing our people, Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan. It's good to see you, sir, as always.
Good to be with you, Chris.
At the start of Speaker Johnson's speakership, he vowed to get Congress back to what we call regular order. But here we are, yet again, ruling by emergency with government telling us we must accept more harm to our people because the government's running out of money. Couldn't all of this been avoided if the House had just kept its promise, done the work by completing those 12 appropriations bills, and then turning it over to Chuck Schumer? And if Chuck Schumer continued his slothful and lazy ways, he would be 100% responsible for shutting down the government. Why didn't that happen?
Well, that's certainly the preferable way, and we did pass 7 bills. The Senate has passed 0, 7 of the 12 individual appropriation bills. But what this last bill was, this is how out of touch I think the Democrats are. This last bill, we even said, okay, we said, okay, from the Republican side, we'll agree to the current level of spending. You're right, Chris, too high, I don't like it, but we'll agree to that. But we want one thing on the bill that funds the government for short term, for the next 3-4 months. We want one thing on there, which is if someone new, some new voter is going to go register to vote, they should demonstrate that they're a citizen. And we want that because what has happened in 3.5 years? 10 million illegal migrants have come into the country. 99 of those 10 million were on the terrorist watch list. There's been this crazy temporary protective status program that's allowed several thousand, hundreds of thousands of migrants to come in under this program. 15,000 Haitians have come to Springfield, Ohio, and disrupted that community. So in that context, we think if you ask any American citizens, does it make sense to require people to prove they're a citizen before they go in the voter registration roll if they're a new voter? Everyone would say, well, yes. But the Democrats wouldn't even agree to that. 200 of them voted against it. So this is why we're in this frustrating situation where we just wanted something basic, simple, common sense that everyone agrees with. We couldn't even get that.
Yeah, and folks, just so you know, the federal government has been hiding the actual data from us since they couldn't hide the massive illegal immigration. So I know the official number, Congressman, is 10 million, but it's likely upward toward 15 million new illegal aliens.
Probably
because,
higher.
Again,
I agree.
Yeah, Joe Biden's been. They've been hiding the data from us because, you know, they're harming us. As you heard from the outgoing Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, he says he will do anything the Democrats want to make sure the government continues to get my money and your money and our people's money. He's the longest serving majority leader and one of the ringleaders in this crippling inflation and historic debt that is retarding economic growth in this country. Isn't it time Republicans found a better message than, quote, anything the Democrats want?
Yeah, that's not exactly a strong negotiating position. But I will tell you this, I don't want to shut down. No one wants to shut down. I get that. But we also want to make sure our elections, only citizens are voting. We also want to make sure that we have common sense policies in place. And I actually think that's what's really on the ballot this year. You got like the policies of President Trump versus the policies of Biden-Harris. And we have something we very seldom get, Chris. Back-to-back administrations now running for the top job. You can compare. So that's what I want, the common sense, the policies. President Trump, we had a secure border. Currently, we have no border. President Trump, we had $2 gas. Currently, we have $4 gas. President Trump, we had safe streets. Currently, have record crime. President Trump, we had stable prices. Currently, we have record inflation. So that's what I want. The time to really have this fight, though, was a year ago. I mean, 13 months before an election, we were in the same situation. We should have fought hard then to get something that actually would fix our border situation. And we tried. Unfortunately, we didn't get it done then either.
Well, Congressman, you took me right where I wanted to go, as you normally do, reading my mind. As I said in the lead up, a shutdown would be just, you know, par for the course, proof positive that Washington is so inept, so corrupt, it can't even do the very basic of functions. Yet, Americans are wondering aloud why we should fund the corruption and ineptitude from the DOJ, FBI, IRS, Secret Service, who's allowed open season on the leading candidate for president. This government appears to have been weaponized against our people. So can you see why so many Americans, you know, they wouldn't cry if this inept government shut down and stopped abusing us for a little while?
No, I do think that these agencies they're supposed to serve we the people. I think they've been turned against us. The very taxpayers they're supposed to serve, and you can go agency by agency. I mean, you mentioned the Secret Service. where's Mayorkas been? I mean, Mayorkas has presided over this border situation, which is so bad. I haven't heard him say one thing since the assassination attempt on President Trump last weekend. I haven't heard him one, and he's the guy in charge of Homeland Security. He's the secretary, and Secret Service is part of that agency. Where's he been, for goodness sake? So, yeah, does the FBI deserve a new headquarters? This is something we fought against. Of course not. And yet that gets appropriated and put in some of these bills. So I agree with you. I think the people agree with you. And the people are going to get a chance to say here in just, 47 days, when I think they're going to make President Trump our next president.
Well, Congressman, I know where Mayorkas has been and what he's been doing. He's been hiding all the information, and right now he's being sued by America First Legal because he refuses to turn over information about the Trump assassinations. He's busy burying everything that he and his department have done to us. As you know, Vladimir Putin has endorsed Kamala Harris, as has Dick Cheney, Liz Cheney, Adam Kinzinger, and other opponents to American strength. Kamala Harris's most recent endorsement came from the #1 state sponsor of terrorism, Iran. Iran hacked the Trump campaign and then funneled that information to the Biden-Harris camp. First, what do you make of Iran pulling for Kamala Harris? But also, is the Biden camp using their ill-gotten information from Iran in the campaign? Do we know that?
Well, I don't know, but what I do know is I'm very concerned. We did a letter today where we're asking for information. You know, when did this happen? When did the information get to the Biden-Harris campaign? What did they do with it? How did the information get to the press? Was President Trump given a defensive briefing that Iran was trying to hack into their campaign? We know Iran's trying to kill the president, for goodness sake. We know that Iran's going after Prime Minister Netanyahu. We know Iran wants to go after Secretary of State, former Secretary of State Pompeo. So, I mean, I find this really troubling. And we know if this was reversed, if the if the Harris campaign was hacked by some foreign entity, and they got a 271-page dossier on Tim Walz that they hacked, and they gave it to the Trump campaign, and it wound up in the press. Oh my goodness. This town would be going crazy. There would already be talks of like a special counsel and everything else. But when it's flipped around, oh no, we caught it, no big deal. Well, we want some answers, and that's why we're asking for it. And we're determined to get those answers for the American people in the run-up to, again, our most important election. Who's going to be the next commander-in-chief? So we're after this information, too.
Congressman Jim Jordan, always great to catch up with you, sir. Come back soon.